Welcome to part 10 of the Gameplay Ability System series. In this part, you will learn how to design configurable and reusable abilities. We'll start by turning our Axe Swing ability into a modular base melee attack. Then build on top of that by creating child abilities such as the 3-hit Axe combo attack. In this lesson, you will learn 3 main things: how and why you should make modular abilities, how to use configuration-driven design to simplify complexity, and how to extend abilities cleanly without rewriting code. Using all these principles, we will then build our 3-hit combo attack, and you will see exactly how scalable building abilities this way can be. So let's jump right in. Alright, we first want to start by creating our base melee ability that all other melee abilities will inherit from. And to do that, let's actually take a look at our Axe Swing ability first. So there are a lot of things in this Axe Swing ability that we created in the last lesson that aren't specific to this ability. They're just general melee ability stuff, like playing a montage. Probably all melee attacks are going to play a montage. They're all probably going to wait for a hit scan and apply some damage and then wait for it to end. And on ability end, they're all going to end the hit scan. So these are common things. So we want them to be reusable. So let me show you what we're going to do. We are going to duplicate this Axe Swing ability. I'm going to Control D to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it the melee attack base. All right, let's close the Axe Swing so we don't confuse them, and open up our melee attack base. So this is identical to our Axe Swing ability. I'm just going to change the asset tag here. So remove this melee attack Axe Swing, and let's add another one, gameplay ability, and just melee attack. So I'm not going to go level down, it's just the melee attack here. And that's the default value. In the children, we're going to be able to override these. So now we want to turn the things that are specific to the Axe Swing into variables. So for example, the montage that we play. Well, we can right click on it and make it a variable and call it the attack montage. Now, we can remove its default value. We don't want it to have a default value. And let's put it in a category called animation, right? So that it's under a category here called animation. So then the children will pass in whatever animation montage we want to play. It's also good to check that it's valid or not, because if the montage is not valid, we can't do anything. So check that it is valid, and if not, let's end the ability as well. Let me just clean this up. So what else do we want to be configurable by the children that extend this base ability? Well, probably the gameplay effect class that's getting applied, right? So let's promote that to a variable as well, call it the effect class, and let's put it in a category called gameplay effect. And this will have a default value, so it's fine to have this one default to the damage instant. And the magnitude as well, let's promote it to a variable, call it the damage magnitude. All right. And let's also drag and drop this onto the gameplay effect category. The data tag, we're just going to keep it hard-coded here because it is a data effect, damage effect class. So let's actually call it a damage effect class. And it uses the damage data tag and has damage magnitude. So I think that's pretty much it for the things that we want to be configurable. Now we also want to be able to extend certain functionality. For example, this is the default hit scan functionality, but maybe in the child we want to do this default functionality and then do something extra on every hit scan. So let's move that to a separate event. So I'm just going to make some room here and move that here to an event. Let's create a custom event and call it a handle hit scan start. All right. And I'm going to create another one and call it handle hit scan end. And we're going to take our stuff from here and put it in the hit scan end. All right. And let's just call them here. So we're just creating events out of them. So this is handle hit scan start when we receive the event hit scan start. And this will be handle hit scan end when we receive the end hit scan event. All right, and just for consistency, the end ability does everything that's in handle hit scan end now, so we can just remove these two and call handle hit scan end. And let's put them in a comment, hit scan events. Great, so in the children, we can override these or extend them to do something. But I'm going to add also another event. Might not make perfect sense right now, but you'll see when we create the child. So right here, after the montage starts, I'm going to call an event. Well, first I'm going to create an event here. Custom event. And I'm going to call it montage started. Okay? But it's not going to do anything. So it does nothing. And we're going to override it in the child. So it's just an event that's meant to be overridden by the child. But we can call it, even though it does nothing, we can call it here. So montage started. So if the child wants to do something at this point in the execution, then they can just override this event. And you'll see exactly how we're going to use that. All right, so that is basically it for our base melee ability. Now let's change our axe swing ability to use this base class. So I'm going to go back to my axe swing here, and I'm gonna just delete everything. I'm gonna delete everything, delete my equipped weapon here, and yeah, there are no more variables that I created. So these are all inherited variables, but now it's basically an empty ability. It still has this asset tag, so that's good. We want it to have its own asset tag, but it does nothing else. So of course, right now, this ability, if I press right click, it doesn't do anything because I deleted all the code from it. But if I go to my class settings and I change the parent class to be our GA melee attack base, so if I do that, now we get access to all these additional things, the attack montage, the damage effect class, and magnitude. So let me just override the montage. So let's add our axe swing montage here. So just by doing that, by changing the parent and adding the montage, now if I play the axe swing, boom, everything works as expected. Amazing. Now in this axe swing ability, we don't need to extend the montage started event and do something because we already have everything done for us in the base class. But now we are going to move on to a more complicated ability where we need to extend this functionality. And that is our axe combo ability. So let's go over here in our abilities folder and create a new blueprint. And this type, it's going to be, the class is going to be melee attack base. So we're going to create a blueprint of the type melee attack base. So that's the parent class. And we're going to call it GA melee attack axe combo. Excellent. So this is a combo attack. Now, we need an animation for it, and I do have an animation here that I also got from Mixamo, this axe attack combo. It's just this 3-hit combo that has root motion as well. And I already created a montage out of it and just added the trail effects, also like we did in the last lesson with the axe swing. So I only have basic trail effects here. I don't have anything else. So if I go to my axe combo and then choose this montage here, so go to my axe combo ability and choose the axe montage combo. Now it should work, but let's first grant it to the player. So let's open up our weapons folder where we have our axe weapon. And in the abilities to grant array, we are going to add another ability, and that's going to be our axe combo. And then we have the ability now when we equip the axe, but we don't have an input for it. So let's go ahead and create an input action. So in our inputs folder, actions, I'm just going to duplicate the melee axe swing and call this one axe combo. So there's nothing different in the input, but we need to map it to a different key. So open up our IMC default mapping context, and we are going to add a new mapping. So I click the plus, and now I find it down here. Choose our combo axe, the one we just created, and I will map it to, I don't know, left mouse button. Okay, so the axe swing was right mouse button, this will be left mouse button. Excellent. So now in my Nexus player, right here, I am going to add this new IA axe combo, and I'm going to try to activate the new ability of type axe combo. So when I press left click, it tries to activate this ability. Now let's do it in multiplayer to show you with 2 players, of course. All right, so now I have the ability. It doesn't have an icon. We're going to add an icon for it now. And when I press click once, it plays the 3-hit combo, but it doesn't do damage because we didn't add the hit scan notifies. And of course, it plays the entire combo with just 1 click. So that we want to change. First, for the ones following me on Patreon, let's quickly add an icon for it in the abilities bar. So under widgets, so I have this image for it already, this axe combo. And in my data table here, I'm just going to copy this and add a new row and add the name of my class, which is melee attack axe combo, and map it to my combo icon. All right, so now it should have an icon when I equip. Great. So first, why doesn't it do damage? Well, we said we didn't add the hit scan events in the montage. So let's first do that. In our montage, so we want also to do a hit scan at right about here, and then again here, and then finally here. So if you recall, we just right click. I already have 2 notify tracks here. So right about here, I'm going to right click, add my notify state hit scan window, and say it goes until right about here. All right, so I'm just gonna continue doing that off camera for the other 2 hits. All right, so I just added my hit scan windows here. So now let's play and see if this works. So just by doing that, I'm not gonna do anything else, just add the hit scan window, and boom, 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 perfect. So because it is a child of the melee ability, it has the hit scan logic where it waits for this event and calls the hit scan from the weapon. So now we want to actually create our combo logic. Right now, this combo ability doesn't do anything extra other than just play the montage and let the full 3-hit combo continue. But that's not what we want. We want only when the player presses. So if I click once and I don't click again, I only want to do the first hit. So I want the combo to continue only if I receive input at the right time. So how do we define this right time? So for example, right now when I swing the weapon, only if I click between here and here, then I want to continue the combo. But if I don't click and I reach this point, then end the montage. Same, if I do the second attack, only if I click between here and here, then continue the montage. But if you don't receive a click until here, then just end the montage. So we can also do this with the same way that we're doing hit scans and trails by creating a new Anim notify window that tells us when we are able to continue the montage. So let's see how that will work. We are going to go to our content folder, our Anim notifies, and we're going to create a new Anim notify state just like we did last time as well. So new blueprint, Anim notify state, and we're going to call it the AN state underscore combo window. Open it up, and we need to override our 3 functions as usual. The notify name, just to give it a name, we're going to call it continue combo window. And then override notify begin, and it's also just going to send an event. Not going to do anything else. So get the owner from our mesh, and then call SendGameplayEvent to actor. All right. And the event, we're going to need to create one because we don't have one. So let's create a new event here and call it continue combo dot start, something like that. All right, and we need to choose it. So we're going to do the same thing again. So notify, override the notify end, and we are going to paste all of this good stuff here. Mesh component, get the owner, return, and this time the event will be called continue combo dot end. All right. So now we just have this notify window that tells us when the combo can continue and when you can't press any input anymore. So let's go back to our montage now and use this new track. So we are going to say, for example, if you, after the first axe swing, if you receive an input between here, let's say right here, and here, then you can continue. So let's add our notify state for our combo window and say between here and here, right? Something like that. So right as the hit lands for the first time and right before the other one begins. If you don't receive a notify between here and the other one, you can't continue. All right, I'm just going to copy this and create another one for our second attack. So right after the second attack lands here, I'm going to paste this one and say you can continue between here and right here. So if you don't click again here, then you've missed your window and you won't continue. All right, so now we have our montage that's just sending events telling us this is your combo window, this is when it starts, this is when it ends. But where do we listen to these events and do something with them? Well, that will be in our axe combo ability. But where exactly in our axe combo ability? Well, that's the reason why we created this montage start event, because we probably want to listen to this event right after the montage has started, right? So technically, you can also just continue here after the parent activate ability, but having a separate ability for it with a separate name just makes it more cleaner and easier to scale and more explicit in the future. So we're going to override that event, our montage started event. And here we're going to wait for our new gameplay abilities. So wait for gameplay event, sorry, not ability. And this will be the combo, continue combo.start. And before we do anything, let's just wait for the other one. And that's continue combo.end. So when we receive these events, we just want to keep track, are we within the continue combo window or not? Because we want to keep track, did we receive an input at the right time? So we're going to create a new variable here, call it is within combo window, okay? And as soon as we receive the combo start event, we will set this variable to true. And when we receive the combo end event, we will set this variable to false. So now we have a variable that tells us, are we within the window or not? Now we need another variable to track, have we received input at the right time or not, right? So when the player presses the button again, we're gonna check if we're within the combo window and set a variable. This variable, let's call it received input at right time, right? We're not gonna set it for now, but let me show you how it's gonna work. So right here, when the combo ends, we're gonna do a branch. So the combo window has ended. So right now, this is the opportunity to check. So again, back here, this is the opportunity to check right here. Do I continue or do I end the ability? How will I know that? Well, I will know that if the received input at right time is true. If it's true, I will continue. That means I won't do anything. But if it's false and I didn't receive an input, then I will end the ability. So now I can only do one swing. So no matter how many times I press the input, I can only do one swing. Because we've never received input at the right time. We never set this variable anywhere. So it always ends the ability. So how do we send events that we have received input? Well, we can do this in our Nexus player right here after we activate the combo. So right now, when we trigger the event, we try to activate it. But if we press this button again, the event is already active, so it won't do anything. But what we're going to do is right after it, we're going to say send gameplay event to actor. The actor is ourself, and we want to send an event that input has been pressed, right, to this combo. So under event continue combo, we're going to add a subtag and call it continue combo.input. So the input to continue the combo. And just select it here. So now back in my axe combo ability, I'm going to wait for this event as well. So wait gameplay event, and I'm going to wait for the continue combo input. So if I receive this event, I want to set the value of received input at the right time to be true. So now I received input. Technically, if you want to be very accurate, set it to be the value of is within combo window or not. Because it's not always the right time. If you received input at the wrong time, outside the combo window, it should be false. But it doesn't really matter because we're going to reset this value. So let me explain. Every time we enter a combo window, so between here and here, as soon as we enter the combo window, we set this value to false because I don't care whatever presses happened before the combo window, I ignore them. So as soon as the combo window starts, I set this value to false. And then I wait to see if I will receive something here. If I don't, then I end. Again, if I receive anything between combo windows, I don't care about it. As soon as I start the combo window, I set this value to false. So let's do that. As soon as the combo window starts here, get our received input at the right time and set it to false. And only when we receive the input at the right time, then it will be true. Great. So let's test it out. So now I'm going to click once and let go. One combo. Now I'm going to try to click twice. Perfect. Does it. Now all three. Duck, duck, duck. Nice. So this works. Our combo works now. But there's a catch. It only works on the server. Look at the client. I'm pressing. I'm pressing as much as I can, and it's only doing one combo. Why is it not continuing? Well, because we are sending events only on the client. So the client is the one that's sending the events, because again, this is on input press. So this event is not being sent to the server. And because it's not being sent to the server, then the gameplay ability, which is running mostly on the server, isn't receiving an event to continue. So it's blocking the client from continuing this event. So we also need to send this on the server. How do we do that? Well, we do it through an RPC call. Right now, I'm just going to do the RPC call here, but later we're going to create a more generic way or more centralized way. So create a custom event here, and we're going to call it server send gameplay event. Okay? Make it replicated, run on server, and reliable. And it takes one input, which is the, let's say, the event tag for now. So just the tag. And it's a gameplay tag right here. And then all it does is call this, but calls it on the server and passes the event tag here. Great. So when I press the input, I want to check if I'm already on the server. If I'm already on the server, then this will work. But afterwards, I'm going to check has authority. So if I'm not on the server, that means this will be triggered. Then I call server send gameplay event. So this is an RPC call that sends the event or tells the server to run this event on the server. So let's pick our combo input, continue combo input event here. All right. So again, just to recap, this will create an RPC call that sends an event from the client to the server, and then it will be sent on both the client here and the server. If it's already the server, then this will only be sent on the server. Now if I play and I test it out on the client again, now I do my 3-hit combo, boom, 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 perfect. All right. So I told you that we're going to make this centralized, so it's reusable. We're going to want to send gameplay events on the server, well, do an RPC call from the client to the server with a gameplay event multiple times. So this is something we want reusable. So I don't want it to be on the Nexus player. I want it to be on the base character. So we're going to do that, but before we do that, I still want to show you something else with the combo. So if you remember in the base ability, we made these handle hit scan start and handle hit scan end as abilities. And I told you maybe you want to extend them or override them. So I'm going to show you what you can do by extending it. For example, let's say in our combo here, I want the damage of every hit to be stronger than the hit before. So let's say the first hit does 25 damage, second hit does 50, and then third hit, if it lands, does 75 damage. So how do we do that? Well, in our base ability here, we have this damage magnitude variable that gets sent with every hit scan start. Every hit scan, it creates a new damage gameplay effect and applies this damage magnitude. So in our combo here, in our combo ability, we can override the hit scan start and add a call. Well, right now, if I'm overriding it and I do nothing, then the ability won't do anything. So the hit scan won't work because I'm saying override it and do nothing. Now, if I override it and add a call to the parent function, which is do everything that's in the parent function, then the ability will work and it's as if I've never overridden it. But now I want to override it and add behavior. I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to do it at the end because I want to do it before. So before actually sending the gameplay effect, I want to override the magnitude value. And I'm going to override it based on which step in the combo I'm currently at. So let's first track which step in the combo I'm at by saying something like combo count variable. Let's make it an integer. And let's say as soon as the montage starts here, we're going to set combo count to 1. All right. And if the continue combo event is received and the received input at write time variable is true, this is when we continue the combo. Let's get our combo count and increment it. That just means add 1 to it. All right, so now we have a variable that keeps track of our combo count and resets every time the montage starts over. Remember, this entire ability is instance per actor, so it's very important to reset your variables because the same instance will be used for different activations. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so now we have our hit scan start. So between hit scan start and call to the parent function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my damage magnitude here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply, say 25 or minus 25. That's my base damage. And I'm going to multiply it by the combo count. And then do the call to the parent function. So I'm hijacking the call to the hit scan start. And before the parent does whatever it wants, I'm overriding the damage magnitude. So let's go here to our base melee attack. And let's print the value of the damage magnitude. So we make sure that it's working here as well on the base. So now I play. Now watch the prints. I'm going to do the first hit and it says 25. Great. Now I'm going to do 2. That's 25, 50. Amazing. Now 3, 25, 50, 75. Excellent. So this is one way to extend the functionality of the base class. Now, of course, we've added a lot of functionality unique to the combo in this melee axe combo. But if you have multiple combo abilities, you can also make a base melee attack combo ability and then have a child of that. So you can keep doing this chain of inheritance until you have the thing that suits your own game. Right now, we're only going to have one combo ability, so I'm not going to make this axe combo a base class or a parent class. That's configurable. I'm just going to make it its own ability. But you can imagine how the inheritance structure can look like for your game based on the type of abilities you want to have. All right, now the last thing is I want to turn this SendGameplayEvent to a generic function to be used on any base character. So let's delete it from here. Delete it from here, and I'm going to do this in C++, because in C++ we have our base character. So I'm going to open the header file of our Nexus character base, and just under the public scope here, I'm going to add a new function. It is a void function. I'm going to call it server send gameplay event to self. To self because it's always on the current actor. And the input it's going to take is, I'm not going to do an event tag and a payload. Let's make it simple and just do event data. And it's going to be a reference. So add an and here. All right. This needs to be called in blueprints. So add RU function. It's going to be blueprint callable and put it in the ability system category. But again, this is a server RPC. So we need to add two things, server and reliable, just like we did in the blueprints one. Great. Now, when you implement a server function in Blueprint, in C++, so I'm going to do Alt and Enter to have it generate a definition for me, and look at the definition it generates. Server send gameplay event to self and added underscore implementation. Now, this is the naming convention of Unreal Engine for creating replicated events. It adds underscore implementation to the name of the function. So just be aware, you call it normally by its name, but the implementation itself is found here. Great. So all this does is call the send gameplay event to actor from our blueprint library here. So just copy this, paste it here, And that's basically all it does. This, so it sends the gameplay event to our current actor, the event tag gets it from the event data, and then passes the event data as the payload. The only difference is this runs on the server from the client. All right, now let's live recompile and see if build failed. Replicated parameters cannot be, yeah. Sorry, my bad. This is a replicated function, so I can't pass things by reference because, of course, this runs on a completely different machine with different memory addresses. So this has to be passed in as a copy like this. Now if I live recompile, great. Looks like it's working. And now I should be able to, I am in the Nexus player, so I should be able to call my server send gameplay event to self. And the event data I'm going to make. And I only care about the event tag, so I don't want anything else. And the event tag here is the combo input. All right, so let's make sure that this works as well. Oh, on the server, of course it works. Let's make sure on the client that it works. Boom. Boom. Oh, it's not working. Why are you not working? Oh, I did it on authority. I need to do it on remote. Of course, you don't want to run a server RPC if you are the server. You run server RPCs if you are the client. And test it again. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing. And that wraps up part 10 of the gas series. We've seen how powerful configurable base classes can be and how they allow us to build new abilities faster with way less duplication. And we saw how to apply that by adding combo logic layered cleanly on top of our melee attack system. This is how you're meant to write abilities. Build the base once, extend as many times as needed. Now, next up in part 11, things get really exciting because we're finally doing projectiles. And I've been waiting until now to do projectiles because it requires us to apply almost everything we've learned so far until this point. Modular abilities, gameplay cues and effects, Anim notifies, replicated actors and variables, and even more than that. So if you understand the next part well, then you truly have an excellent grasp of the gameplay ability system and how to use it. Part 11 is already in early access on my Patreon, along with the ability to download the full project files for this series and every other series I've ever created. So if you're learning from this series and you want to support me so I can keep making these videos, then please check out my Patreon and see all the benefits that you get as well. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.